Good afternoon to everyone. So we have 30 candidates, 30 participants have joined the lecture. Let's wait for little time so that others can join. Till then, anyone having query or some doubt? So okay, let's start lecture. So let me share the screen. So in last lecture we started a queue, and in that we have discussed the importance of queue in our day-to-day life as well as in the technology and in operating system. So at many places, wherever there are multiple candidates, and these multiple candidates need to be served or need to do something common, then queue is the very important and useful data structure to uh, handle this work or task efficiently. Okay, and in that we had seen it's a linear list, and it permits deletion at one end and insertion at other end, not like stack. In stack, both the insertion and deletion happens at one end only, and in the queue we can do insertion and deletion at two different ends. Okay, and the information in such a list is processed in first out manner or first come first serve basis. As we have queue in our life, day-to-day life, the first person candidate who is stood into the queue will be served first, and then second, and then third, so on. And we maintain two pointers, front and rear. This front and rear will point to the start of the queue and end of the queue respectively. Okay. And the process to add an element into the queue is called enqueue, and the process of deleting element in from the queue is called the dequeue. Okay, and the example is checkout line at supermarket cash register. or yeah, or many examples you can give by your own, right? The uh, ticket purchasing queue and many such queues you can mention in the example. And here you can see the queue data structure is represented. Uh, it is maintaining two pointers, front and rear, and enqueue operation will add the element to the queue from the rear side, and dequeue operation will remove the element from the front side of the queue. Okay. Then next, operations on queue, insertion and deletion. Here we stopped in last lecture. So let's first of all see the insert operation. So we are given two pointers, front and rear, and we have to uh, insert y in this queue, which is represented by q, and the length of the queue is n elements. The number of elements which can be accommodated in the queue are n. So in this algorithm, to add, we first of all, the first thing we need to check whether the queue is full or not. Is there any room to add this new element y? If no, then we should tell that it is overflow. But how to check whether the queue is overflow or not, right? So if the rear pointer is greater than or equal to n, that means your queue is full, right? You cannot add any more elements, right? Now, after this first point, if queue is not overflow, then you do not need to return back to the program. But if it is not overflow, it would not return, and what it would do, it would increment the rear pointer by 1, r equal to r plus 1. So let's take one example of queue. Say this is my queue and it has, say, 4 elements. So n equal to 4, right? And initially the front and rear pointer both are pointing at the 0 position. That means no elements are there, right? Okay. And then if it is not overflow, right now r is 0, it is less than n, so it is not greater than or equal to n. So we go to the second step, we increment the r by 1. So r now comes here, r equal to r plus 1. So r would be now 1, and then we insert an element to that location, q of r equal to y. So we add y here, right? After that, we have to check whether the front pointer is properly set or not. So if the queue is empty, then front pointer would be 0, and we need to make it 1 only once when we add the first element in the queue. So here, if f equal to 0, yes, then f equal to 1. So f will also point here, that is this, right? Now if you add second element, then second time also it is not overflow. You increment the rear pointer by 1, right? And add the element there. right? And check if f equal to 0. No, now f equal to 1. So no need to do anything, right? And now R is this. Next time if I still run this algorithm to add one more element, my first step to check overflow will fail and I will increment the rear pointer. So now R will be pointing to the third position, right? And element will be inserted there as per the third step, that is Y here. And we check if f equal to 0, no, so it would not affect. So now rear pointer is updated to this. Next, I again if run this, then R is still less than n, so overflow will fail and we would increment the rear pointer by 1. So now my rear pointer would be at the fourth position and a new element will be inserted at this location and we check if f equal to 0, no, right? So now my rear pointer is on this. Now if I still want to add more, then it would see that R is equal to n. That means we cannot add any more element and we have to display a return that it is overflow and we have to return from the algorithm. So this is all about the insert operation. Are you clear with this? Any questions? So let's go ahead. The next operation is delete operation, right? Next operation is the delete operation, and here in delete operation we are given a queue and front pointer and rear pointer. One thing you need to remember is, see, the delete algorithm is preceded by the function keyword, while here in the insert it is preceded by the procedure. Because this insert is not returning anything, any value, it is considered as procedure, and because a delete returns the value which is deleted from the queue, it is called the function. Okay, so now let's see the algorithm. First of all, you have to check whether before deleting the element from the queue, you have to check whether the queue is empty or not. If there are no element in queue, then there is no need to delete anything. You cannot delete anything, and you have to tell the user that it is under flow condition, so no elements are there, and you have to return from the algorithm. But how to check whether the queue is under flow or not? So queue is under flow only when f equal to 0, right? So if f equal to 0, that means queue is under flow. Okay. Then next you get the element which is stored at the front of the queue and store it into the Y, right? Now once you have stored this first element q of f to the Y, so this first element would be stored into the Y. Now after deleting element, you have to check whether the queue was empty, right? So how we can know whether the queue is empty or not? So the condition is f equal to R. See, initially f and R both are 0, and when one element is added, right, when the initially, say this is my queue, or I am explaining how to check whether the queue is empty or not. Initially F and R both are 0, so Q is empty. But suppose I enter first element, so what would happen? This F and R would be pointing to the first element both, right? And through this we can check F equal to R. That means only one element was there. Whenever there will be only one element in the queue, my F and R pointer would be equal, right? So this F and R pointers are equal when there is only one element in the queue. For example, let's take another example where the first element is deleted and only this element is there, second element is there. So my front and rear both will be on the same position when only one element would be there. So it is checked here if F equal to R, that means Q was empty, and you can set F equal to R equal to 0. Otherwise you have to increment the F pointer to 1 and return the Y candidate. So here in this situation particular, in this in this example, right now Q is full, right? So there is no case of underflow. F is not equal to 0, F equal to 1 right now, and you store the element which is stored at the front of the queue to the Y. Then is F equal to R? No. So we will do the F equal to F plus 1. So now F will be pointing to this and this will be removed, right? Next, again if I want to delete, if I run this algorithm again, that means I have to check underflow. No, right now F equal to 1. Then I store the element at the front of Q into the Y variable, and then I will check if F equal to R. Was it the last element? No. So I will go to the else part and will increment the F pointer. So now my F pointer will be pointing to this location, and I have now two elements remaining in the queue. So I have two elements remaining in the queue, and let me remove this. If I run the algorithm third time, then again F is not equal to 0, right? And I will store the front element into the variable Y. If F equal to R, no. So I will increment the F, and now my F pointer would be pointing to the same location as R, and this arrow would be updated, right? Now only one element is there, and if I run this, see, whenever there is one element in the queue, I will have both pointers equal. So in this, if I run this delete again, now see F is not equal to 0, still one element is there, and I will store that element into the Y variable and will check if F equal to R. Yes, now this time F equal to R, because it was only one element. So I will set F equal to R equal to 0, right? So I would be updating this F and R, and they will be set to both set to 0, right? And this element would be deleted. So now Q is empty. Are you clear with this insert and delete operation? Any questions? So now next topic is the circular queue. So in the simple queue, you can see even though we have room for some elements. For example, say when I delete 2 elements, but my R limit is only 2 elements were there, then also, for example, consider this situation. Suppose this is my okay. So here after deleting 2 elements, what was the pointers F and R value? What was the value of pointers F and R after deleting 2 elements? After deleting 2 elements, my F was on this location and my R was on this location, right? Now in this situation, I have 2 elements left on the queue, but the queue size is 4. But then also, if I try to insert in this situation, if try to insert an element, then what would happen? It will check if R is greater than or equal to 1, greater than or equal to n. Yes, R is equal to 4. So it is overflow. Even though we have 2 elements left here, but we are still not able to insert into the simple queue. So this queue is not using the storage efficiently, and that's why the more suitable option is the circular queue. And so this yes, so the more suitable version for representing a simple queue which prevents an excessive use of memory, right, to arrange the queue in a circular fashion, right? So this here you can see it's a circular fashion. So if I manage this in a circular fashion, then my rear pointer can be updated from this to this pointer, where I can add more elements, right? So if I make a circular queue, so this whole queue will be considered as circular queue, and as there is a vacant room or vacant place in the queue, that can be filled with new element, which was not possible in the simple queue, right? So let's uh, understand this circular queue. Okay, so in a standard queue data structure, rebuffering problem is the big problem, right? After each DQ operation. So to solve this problem by joining the front and rear ends of a queue to make the queue as a circular queue. So instead of considering a linear queue, we consider a queue in a circular fashion, and the 4 elements can be stored like this, right? And then a circular queue is also a linear data structure. Don't do mistake. Many students do this mistake in the examination. They write circular queue is a circular data structure, which is not the true. Right? Circular queue is still a linear data structure because the elements are stored linearly one by one, one after one. Right? So it's a linear data structure. It's not a circular data structure, and it follows a FIFO principle. So it's a queue only, right? Because many students also fail to answer whether the circular queue can be considered as queue or not. So many students say no, it is not queue, which is not wrong. It is also queue, right? And in the circular queue, the last node is connected back to the first node, right? And sir, here this linked list you will study later on. Right now we can skip this. And elements are added at the rear end of the queue, and the elements are deleted at the front end of the queue. Right. And this circular queue is also called a ring buffer. Right. So let's see the first algorithm of this circular queue. Inserting in the circular queue. For that we are given 2 pointers. Okay, so here in this circular queue, if I want to insert, I have been given a front and rear pointers, and the queue, and the capacity of the queue, number of elements in the queue, that is n, and the element to be inserted, that is y. So let's take one queue. Say I would take the queue for 4 elements, right? So now this is my circular queue, and there are 4 elements in this queue, right? So to insert in the queue, first of all we have to insert it from the rear. Now if r equal to n, that means this is, say, let me write down, this is first element, this is second element, this is third element, and this is fourth element, right? So it says if r equal to n, here n equal to 4, in our this example n equal to 4. So if r is pointing at say this location, right, that means our next value of r would be 1, because whenever we want to insert in the queue, we first of all update the rear pointer. So this, if it is equal to n, then set it to 1, r equal to 1, right? Otherwise you simply increment r by 1. So if value of r is anything less than the n, it may be 1, 2 or 3, then you just increment it to the next location. So the first step is to reset the rear pointer, and after resetting a rear pointer you have to check whether there is overflow condition or not, right? So for that you have to check if front equal to R, that means overflow. In the circular queue, after updating a rear pointer, if you get that front and rear pointer has the same value, that means your queue has no room where you can add the element. Then you can write the overflow and you can return from the algorithm, right? If f is not equal to R, then you insert the y at the updated rear pointer, right? And you have to also need to check, is the front pointer properly set? So initially when the queue is empty, right, initially when queue is empty, R and F both are 0, right? So in updation of the rear pointer here, I will update R to the 1. When the queue is empty, I will increment the R and I will set R to 1, from 0 to 1. But here you also need to check if the queue was empty, that means you also need to take care of front pointer only once. Whenever there is a empty queue, you have to take care of front pointer and you have to set it to 1. Any questions? Have you understood this? So here element would be inserted y, right? Now if I again run this algorithm, R is not equal to n, so I will increment R from this to next location, right? I will update the rear pointer and I will check for overflow. Is it overflow after updating the rear pointer? No, it is not overflow. That means I go to the next step. I will store y to that place and I check if f equal to 0. No, f right now is 1, so no need to update it. Then again if I run the algorithm, is R equal to n? No. So I will increment the R from this to the next element, right? R will be incremented by 1. So rear pointer would be updated first. And I will check for overflow. If f equal to R, no, right? So q of R equal to y. So here new element represented by y will be stored. And then f equal to 0, no. So again I run the algorithm. Now R is not equal to n, so I will increment it by 1. So from here I will update this to this condition, right? And I will, what I say, this pointer will be removed, or let me, when I update it, it would be pointing to this, and I can now remove this. So this is the situation now, and f is not equal to R, so it is not overflow. I can still now I can insert an element at the rear pointer, updated rear pointer, that is y, right? Now still if I run this algorithm, then I find that R equal to n. So R will be set to 1 because R equal to n. So now R would be set to 1 and this would be, and I have to check if f equal to R, yes, that means it is overflow. See, there is no vacancy in the queue. So if f equal to R after updation of rear pointer, then it is called the overflow condition and you cannot add the element. So clear everyone with this algorithm? Okay, let's go ahead. Any questions? Yeah. So this was the insert operation in the queue. The delete operation is not, I intentionally have not kept that algorithm here. The delete operation you can design by yourself after looking this. Uh, can you do this, or should I discuss the delete operation also in the circular queue? It's a very interesting puzzle like problem. Right? You have to write the algorithm for circular queue delete, right? CQ delete, right? What should be the arguments, what should be the steps, all you, if you will think and if you will develop the algorithm by yourself, right, you will have a great amount of confidence built up, right? So circular queue delete and what should be the arguments in this circular queue. You have seen the normal queue delete operation, and now you can make the circular queue delete operation, right? And you can set the points accordingly, right? So let's go ahead. Next is the double-ended queue, and let me see the time. There are operations on double-ended queue. Then priority queue is there. So how much time we have taken? So it's 37:22. So I think we should end up here. The WQ will we will learn tomorrow. Okay. Any other questions? Have you understood today's topic? Okay, then let me stop sharing screen. Oh, someone has written question. No, okay. In the chat box, there are no questions. Okay. So let me take attendance sheet. And let me stop recording.